Nobody's Girl by Virginia Roberts Giuffre with collaborator Amy Wallace. Virginia Roberts Giuffre was born in Sacramento, California in 1983 to Sky Roberts, a handsome construction worker from a proud military family, and Lynn, a free-spirited former runaway who had escaped her own troubled childhood. When Virginia was 3, her uncle gave her a thrilling horseback ride that sparked a lifelong love of animals. Her childhood in rural Loxahatchee, Florida seemed idyllic. She was a tomboy who loved animals and spent her time climbing trees, reading voraciously, and riding her beloved horse Alice. Her mother called her angel-kissed for her freckles, and Virginia felt secure and loved. This safety shattered when her father began sexually abusing her around age 7, starting with touching and progressing to rape. He manipulated her by framing it as extra love and threatened to harm her younger brother Skydie if she told anyone. When her mother discovered traces of the abuse through Virginia's recurring urinary tract infections, she inexplicably blamed Virginia rather than her husband. Around the same time, her father's friend Forrest, a muscular landscaper with military bearing, was invited into the family and given unsupervised access to Virginia. Forrest raped her repeatedly. When Forrest's stepdaughter, Sheila, tried to report his abuse years later, she was not believed. Trapped in this cycle with no one to help, Virginia developed anger, defiance, and an eating disorder that her parents labeled out of control. While 14, she'd been assaulted by 2 older boys while unconscious, and when she tried to report it, nothing came of it. Desperate to escape, she began running away repeatedly, hitchhiking to San Francisco and cycling through juvenile detention facilities. The worst was growing together, a brutal, tough-love treatment center that inflicted systematic humiliation, abuse from staff and residents, and forced confessions rather than healing. After escaping at 15, battered and desperate, Virginia found herself alone on Miami's streets when a predatory stranger raped her. Leaving her bloody and terrified on a curb in a beach parking lot, a limousine pulled up carrying Ron Eppinger, a wealthy man in his 60s running an escort service disguised as a modeling agency, and a woman named Yana. Within hours, Eppinger had Virginia in his opulent Key Biscayne apartment, surrounded by undressed girls. That night, he and Yana sexually assaulted her. Virginia, having already learned that survival meant compliance, accepted this new nightmare as the price of having a roof over her head. After months of captivity and repeated abuse by Eppinger and his associates, Virginia was given to one of Eppinger's wealthy friends who owned a nightclub in Fort Lauderdale. A federal raid in mid-1999 rescued her, but her parents refused to have her home and sent her back to growing together. Determined not to return to captivity, Virginia escaped again with FBI help and eventually found work at a restaurant. In summer 2000, Virginia took a job as a locker room attendant at Mar-a-Lago, the exclusive Palm Beach resort, where her life entered its darkest period. An impeccably dressed British woman with short, dark hair named Ghislaine Maxwell approached her. Maxwell was a charming socialite in her late 30s, daughter of disgraced media mogul Robert Maxwell, who would become the architect of Virginia's systematic exploitation. Maxwell claimed she knew a wealthy man seeking a massage therapist and invited Virginia to an address on El Brio Way, where she met Jeffrey Epstein, a gray-haired financier with bushy eyebrows and a Brooklyn accent. Epstein had cultivated relationships with the world's most powerful men, scientists, politicians, royalty. What appeared to be a massage lesson became a calculated sexual assault, with Maxwell participating and coaching. From that moment forward, Virginia was trapped in a meticulously constructed system of exploitation. Maxwell and Epstein positioned themselves as her mentors and protectors while systematically grooming her into compliance. They paid her small amounts of money, enough to keep her dependent, but not enough to escape, and made clear that Skydie's safety depended on her silence. Over the next 25 months, Virginia was trafficked to dozens of powerful men, including a former governor, U.S. senator, academics from prestigious universities, and royalty, including Prince Andrew. She traveled on Epstein's private jets to his Manhattan townhouse, a 7-story mansion filled with nude photographs of young girls, his New Mexico ranch, and his private island, Little St. James. Maxwell organized the operation with ruthless efficiency, recruiting vulnerable girls, grooming them, and arranging their abuse. Virginia was forced into threesomes with Maxwell and Epstein to recruit other girls and to service Epstein's associates. She witnessed the depths of human depravity and learned that power protected predators from consequences. The breaking point came in 2002 when Epstein and Maxwell asked her to bear their child, offering a mansion and substantial monthly allowance, but demanding she surrender all parental rights. Recognizing this as a bridge too far, Virginia agreed to go to Thailand for massage training, but used it as her escape route. In October 2002, she met Robbie Giuffre, an Australian martial artist and spiritual seeker who had come to Thailand to study fighting. Despite knowing her only briefly, Robbie proposed. They married on a mountainside at a Buddhist temple in Chiang Mai, and Virginia gave her life completely to escaping Epstein and Maxwell's orbit. The couple settled in Australia and built a life together. Though Virginia struggled with PTSD, nightmares, and the psychological aftermath of trauma, Robbie's unwavering love and support provided a foundation for healing. They had 3 children, Alex, Tyler, and Ellie, and despite financial struggles and ongoing threats from those connected to Epstein, they created a home filled with safety and love. Virginia worked various jobs and pursued her dream of helping others through therapeutic work with animals. For years, Virginia remained silent, hoping to move forward. But when Ellie was born, something shifted. The thought of other young girls suffering as she had became unbearable. In 2011, journalist Sharon Churcher contacted her, and Virginia agreed to go public. The British tabloids published her allegations, and a photograph emerged of her with Prince Andrew at Maxwell's London townhouse, his arm around her waist, visual proof that reignited scrutiny of Epstein's powerful network. Virginia then pursued justice relentlessly, working with attorneys Brad Edwards, legendary litigator David Boies, and fierce advocate Sigrid Macaulay. She sued Ghislaine Maxwell for defamation, participated in a Crime Victims' Rights Act case challenging the illegal 2008 non-prosecution agreement that had protected Epstein, and sued Prince Andrew himself. She became the public face of Epstein's victims, giving countless interviews and enduring vicious attacks from critics and tabloid media who called her a liar, prostitute, and money grubber. She was threatened repeatedly and attempted suicide twice in 2022 after neck surgery and the accumulated weight of reliving her trauma through endless depositions. In 2019, after years of Virginia's advocacy and investigative journalism by Julie K. Brown of the Miami Herald, Epstein was arrested on federal sex trafficking charges. Virginia's hopes for trial were devastated when Epstein died in jail in August 2019, officially ruled a suicide, though circumstances remain disputed. Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested in July 2020. When Maxwell went to trial in late 2021, Virginia was excluded from testifying because prosecutors feared her story, involving so many named men and international travel, would distract the jury. Though disappointed, Virginia watched from Perth as Maxwell was convicted on 5 counts of sex trafficking in December 2021, receiving a 20-year sentence. Prince Andrew initially fought Virginia's lawsuit, but after damaging testimony and mounting public pressure, he settled in February 2022 for reportedly over $12 million, funded by Queen Elizabeth II. The settlement included a statement in which the prince acknowledged that Virginia had been victimized and that Epstein had trafficked countless girls, something the royal family had strenuously denied for over a decade. Virginia's relationship with her own family evolved throughout this journey. Her father, with whom she attempted reconciliation, proved incapable of genuine remorse. When Virginia discovered he may have accepted money from Epstein, she cut him out of her life permanently. Her mother, while still unable to fully process Virginia's trauma, has become more supportive and finally acknowledged her failure to protect her daughter. Today, Virginia lives in Perth with Robbie and their 3 children. Alex, now 18, pursues artistic ambitions. Tyler, 17, dreams of becoming an architect. Ellie, 13, is determined to become a paramedic or paleontologist and learn to fly helicopters. Virginia has worked deliberately to break the cycle of abuse, providing her children with safety, unconditional love, and transparency about her advocacy work. She has launched SOAR, Speak Out, Act, Reclaim, a nonprofit dedicated to combating human trafficking and supporting survivors. She continues working with prosecutors investigating Epstein-connected crimes and advocates for eliminating statutes of limitations in sexual abuse cases. Virginia and Robbie recently purchased a 40-acre farm outside Perth, where they're building a therapeutic space with sheep, bees, and horse stalls. Virginia envisions running a horse rescue with Ellie, similar to the one that saved her during her darkest years. Virginia emphasizes several crucial points. First, she has deliberately not named all her abusers, particularly the most powerful, due to fear of legal retaliation and for her family's safety. Second, her settlement with Prince Andrew should not be mischaracterized as abandoning other victims. Civil litigation results in settlements, and the acknowledgement of victimhood represented significant victory. Third, her mission is prevention and protection, not revenge. Virginia's story is fundamentally about the journey from victimization to survival to advocacy. It is a testament to human resilience and the transformative power of love, particularly Robbie's belief in her when she couldn't believe in herself. It is also a searing indictment of institutional failures by her parents, law enforcement who failed to investigate properly, the federal government that didn't prosecute Epstein fairly in 2008, and countless institutions that knew or should have known what was happening and looked away. Most importantly, Virginia's story is a call to action. Eliminate statutes of limitations for child sexual abuse. Hold institutions accountable when they facilitate abuse. Believe victims rather than assuming they're lying or seeking money. And recognize that powerful men have preyed on vulnerable girls far too long. Though she carries permanent physical pain from her injuries and ongoing psychological wounds, and may never feel completely whole, Virginia has reclaimed her life from those who sought to destroy her. She is nobody's girl anymore. She is Virginia Roberts Giuffre, survivor, advocate, mother, and warrior.